Welcome to One Man's Tracks, the secondhand music channel. I'm endlessly intrigued by music's ability to travel. Even up here in my fairly sparsely populated pocket, I'm consistently discovering interesting alternative albums from incredible artists that come from thousands of kilometers away. Home is the latest such band, not to be confused with the British prog group or the vaporwave producer. This Home was founded in 91 as a lo-fi home recording project by fellow classmates Eric Morrison and Andrew Deutsch. They'd become a proper band when they moved to Tampa, recruit bassist Brad Truax and drummer Sean Martin. They'd start their own little indie label collective thingy called Screw Music Forever and start selling tapes for $1 out of a candy bowl at their local record shop. During their initial 2.5 years together, the band produced 8 albums, appropriately named 1 through 8 in Roman numerals, and one of which managed to find its way into Relativity Records' hands, who'd signed the band for their one and only major label LP. It's the bombastic, groovy indie rock of IX9 in 95. Sean took about a 10-year break from the band following 9. He'd be replaced by Chris Milstein on the Skins for the following 6 records, all released through various indie labels. Home continued to craft those idiosyncratic, quirky, alt synthy, fuzz rockin', indie shoegaze songs, ever experimenting while refining their unique ambiance. When Mr. Martin reappeared in '05, he had written and recorded on a 4-track songs of love and related topics, and upon the band returning to their Come the Freak On Fest, they'd have Sean sit in for a set, and it would inevitably lead to the band reuniting to start hashing out some fresh ideas as now a 5-piece band. Still feeling a bit sentimental and spunky, I guess, he'd suggest an album about fucking. The band agreed, writing about 50 songs for the occasion, cutting it to 20, and then rapidly recording them over a 3-day period to create this. The band's 16th record, their first through Jaguar subsidiary Bra, released in June of 2006. It's Home's Sexteen. Despite its fairly facetious title and juvenile concept, Sexteen's funky, scattershot rock blends contain some impressively mature songwriting, all while maintaining a giddy, youthful spirit throughout. A smile invoking expression of pent up desires and adolescent escapism delivered through a diverse spread of cruisy rockin' tunes. It might not be the sexiest record, but it's still a lovely hour of yearning for churnin' that endears itself with its cheeky sweetness. An ambitious, impassioned invitation to let love in that playfully beckons with the innocent anticipation of its flirtatious opener, the solar half of Other Times. A stripped back tune with a bubbly, summery sheen and these hollered vocal harmonies that remind me of a Tim DeLauder or maybe a Stephen Malkmus. It rolls really nicely into the lively follow-up Teasin' and Pleasin', a much more forthright indie rock tune that boldly charges into the discordant and brash alt-rock fantasy of Raging Angel. This super fun introductory run peaks with the confident presence of Juicy Ass and its movin', flirtatious, folky, synthy swingin'. A real top-notch number, superbly cruisy, and always good for a little chuckle too. There's then this very Eelsy song called Straddle Me, a storytelling, atmospheric synth rock ballad that absolutely glitters with longing and leads into the far more angular and lackadaisical push. This one's very pavement reminiscent and is surprisingly compelling given its whiny delivery. Deep Inside is the longest song here. It gets lost in this unwinding, yearning trance. This haunted cut is certainly an interesting one, but does start to signal the beginnings of the band's ambitions maybe getting the better of them. It leads into a goofy psych song called Bubble, whose stripped back flea funk waltzes in and then is interrupted by Andrew making a call to a sex line. There's a few much sillier songs that kind of make me wonder about those 30 or so tracks they didn't record and just how wacky those might have been. Because you got songs like Fucking and Baby Yeah that I ultimately feel are kind of unnecessary additions on the album. They break up the flow a little bit. They are generally short lived. It's really just those and the crunchy, chunky 70s jammer called Rushing that kind of ironically stagnates. It's got some great tones, but it just doesn't quite get going anywhere. Maybe I'm missing the point, or maybe they could have just cut it down a few more to 16 songs? I don't know. There are certainly far more hits than misses here. There's the passionate, whirling infatuation of Cry, the noisy, distorted garage rockin' of Tim's entry, the sweet, swaying, sentimental piano balladry of Moonkiss, as well as the winding groove and beckish anti-folk of Monkey Bear, the tripping daisy vibes of Come Like You're on Fire, and the returning, closing, melodic themes of the lunar version of Other Times that sends Sexteen off with a floating, euphoric return to the beginning. A whimsical, affectionate expression of carnal desires, an honest pronouncement of intimacy delivered with a cheeky earnesty and an impressive sonic diversity. With some of Holmes' sweetest, catchiest tunes, I probably recommend this or maybe 15 as an introduction to these fairly prolific little indie rockers. Maybe start here and work your way backwards. I'm not entirely sure. It was a good introduction for me to get into them. But they've continued on when working on its follow up, of course, named 17. They were individually contributing tunes to it, and so they reached out to Sean again, and he had over 30 songs, so they ended up just putting that in its very own album called Sean 17 while they kind of simultaneously put out Home 17. Sadly, though, that would be Sean Martin's final contribution to the band and to music as he would pass away in 2017 at just 45 years old. After an extended break, the band returned on the very last day of 2019 to release 18 and would follow it up that next summer with 18 Deuxième Partie. They most recently in 2021 released a sweeping instrumental three-part suite that is just gorgeous. Totally out of left field for these guys. Not what I expected at all, but just magnificent background meditative beauty. And that's called CDVXIX, COVID-19, of course. So, pandemic bringing bands together. It's a terrible, beautiful thing. And I really hope these guys plan on continuing. I think I read somewhere that they do, so I'm looking out for number 20 from Home. In the meantime, though, I think Brad Truax is Interpol's live bassist. I think he even played for Iggy Pop at some point, but these other guys are fairly elusive, and Home is a bit of a difficult band to search. Had you heard of Home before? Have you ever found a neat band through a thrift shop surprise? How far did it have to travel to find you? Let me know down in the comments. Tell me all about it. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit all those YouTube sillies, and check out some more excellent secondhand adventures. They're awesome excursions. Take them and roll with them. Rock and roll, guys. I'll see you on the next one, homies. Peace.